All right, guys, how's it going today? Real quick, I'm just going to kind of do like a little rapid fire analysis here on a number of different things, and I'll tell you what I think moving forward. It's been a while since I did one of these videos. Just been really busy lately, but I'm going to try and go over as much as I can in a short amount of time. So here's the SPX right here. We have just been kind of all over the place. We had this big ramp up here from here to here, which was about, what was that, 4165 to 4630-ish area, right? So, almost 500 points there. And then we had that blow off top and then just sold off from there, broke this trend line, and the selling really started to accelerate. We started to balance a little bit in here, and it looked like we were going to break down here. Held strongly at 40.62. We called that bounce on Monday, and we were expecting a ramp up into FOMC and after FOMC, and we really hit a big wall at this 4,300 resistance level. And I was really expecting a little bit more of a follow-through the next day on Thursday, possibly to like the 43.20 area or even 43.50, just to kind of give everyone like a fake breakout. But they wasted no time right at the open. They just started selling it off, right? And I'll try to pull up the volume profile here after a little bit, so you can see once we lost 42.50, I mean, it just sold off like crazy. SPX was down 3.56% that day. That was Thursday. And then Friday, the selling continued, but we did find buyers a little bit just above that previous low at 40.67 for the SPX. And we just kind of basically whipsawed around a little bit. Let's take a look on the 15-minute chart what that looked like. It was a pretty wild day. So we gapped down, we gapped down. That was Thursday. So we gapped down, and then early in the morning sold off to 40.67, and we held this level very nicely. And then we ran back up to fill the gap that we made on the day, and multiple times hit that 41.50 area and just couldn't get above it. We tried here at 11:15, and that was a heck of a run from 9:45 to 10 o'clock up to 41.57. That was about a 100-point move almost, and then dipped back up to the 4100 area. Same thing, ramped back up to 4150. Probably, trapped some longs up here. Everyone thinking, oh, we're going to break above 4150, and then nope, another rejection down, and then kind of stayed down in this area for the rest of the day until the last 30 minutes we ramped back up, got as high as 4138, and then closed at 4123. Okay. So from here, I think a number of different things can happen. If we break 40.67, it's almost inevitable that we hit this 4,000 level, right? And I'm actually thinking somewhere in this 39.40 to 39.60 area is where we ultimately land, where we see a pretty large bounce from. This is a major level that goes back for a very long time, and we have a confluence of support there via fib levels. There's a spot on the volume profile. There's a number of different reasons for support in this area that could produce a pretty significant bounce. Whether or not we get there early in the week or we rally early in the week and then fall remains to be seen. My guess is that we break down early in the week and then we head up. But I'm open to the idea of us rallying above that area. So basically what I'm watching for is a break above 4150. If we break up above 4150, then we could head back up into that 4250 area, 4200 area at least. Probably 41 on SPX would be 4191 to 4200, and then even as high as 4300, right? If we get above 4,300, which I doubt we will, then things are going to start looking more on the bullish side. But there's still a ton of overhead resistance ahead. You have this trend line here in this 4380 area, and that's also a major level of resistance too. This is the breakdown area from here. And then there's even more resistance up here at this trend line. You have the 200 period moving average above. A lot of resistance up ahead. Okay, let's just kind of run down the list. Let's take a look at the Dow. So we still have yet to break the lows of February and March on the Dow, right? Whereas all the other ones it has, especially the NASDAQ, right? So, so far holding this level on the Dow, and, we could bounce from this level early in the week and head up to this 43,740 level to the 40 or 340 level, okay? Triple Qs. So again, right here at a critical level of support, possibly break down to 297 to 300 and bounce, or we just bounce from here and we come back up to test this upper range here back at 329. That seems less likely for me to happen, but I'm open to any number of possible scenarios here. Okay, but just watch for a break above 315.09, and then we're probably going to at least test this breakdown candle high at 325. Okay, if this low breaks here, 305.11, then we're probably going to test at least 300 on the triple Q. So mark those down. All right, IWM, probably the ugliest looking of the bunch, right? IWM, let's pull up the weekly chart here. My chart's a little bit of a mess here. And you can see this was basically kind of like a bear flag here. We're grinding up here and then boom, broke down here. Big weekly down here, 3.16, 4% down, another 1.27% down. But from the highs, IWM is down 26%. I mean, just absolutely ravaged, right? And I don't think the selling is done. We're still shaking off a lot of froth here. I think a 200 weekly moving average test is inevitable, which is at 176 at the moment, okay? And we made a lower low on the IWM compared to the higher low that we made on the SPY, right? And I tend to use IWM as a leading indicator, as a market leading indicator, right? Because I want to see IWM performing stronger, and typically, I see if the IWM is doing well, then the SPY is doing well, right? And the Russell also kind of led this downfall too, right? Like we peaked here early in November, and then it's been selling off since then, just like tech has, right? So IWM peaked way before the SPY did, okay? And the NASDAQ did as well. So if you only trade SPY, you should still be looking at IWM and the triple Qs, just my opinion, okay? Let's see here. The dollar is still absolutely ripping, right? We're above 103. I thought maybe we'd hit a little bit of resistance in this area, and we kind of are, just kind of chopping above this area. Now, there is some resistance, right in this area right here, this 103.59 area. So we're just kind of fighting that level here. Not much else above that, other than this level right here, which is in the 106 to 107 area, right? So, until the dollar starts cooling off, it's hard to be overly bullish on the indices too. And then there's also the 10-year yield, which is just making new high after new high after new high. Here it is on the daily. I mean, just showing no signs of slowing down yet. I want to see it break down below this trend line at least, right? Break below the 21 SMA. If that happens, maybe we come back to test that 2.5 level. I don't know. But, it's absolutely wrecking the bond market and putting a lot of pressure on tech still. Here's TLT, broke below this key level here. And as you can see, it's now heading towards this 112 to 110 area. I will buy TLT if it ends up in that area. In fact, we did see a little bit of call flow coming in on Friday for TLT. So we'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. I believe it was the 114 strikes for May 20th. So keep an eye on that. But I want to see a break back above this 117, 118 area for us to start, turning around again and getting bullish on TLT, right? VIX or volatility. So we put a little bit of a topping tail on the VIX. So this is kind of a tell possibly that we might see a bounce early in the week. Who knows if we get any follow through, but we made a lower high on the VIX on Friday compared to this high on the 2nd, right? So, unless we break above this high early in the week, we may see some follow through may see some upside early in the week, right? So keep an eye on the VIX, keep an eye on the VX, okay? All the other main names, they're all kind of getting wrecked at the moment. BABA, Tesla. Tesla has been holding up fairly well here lately. Apple's been holding up really well. Still yet to test these lows here in the 150 area, right? And I still think, that's your best short at this point if you are going to short any individual stocks, because everything else is really, really beat up at this point. My eyes are on Tesla and Apple if you want to short any individual stocks down here, right? Because Apple's kind of the last one to stand, so to speak, right? Even though we did run up to 179 area, we've been pulling back from there, but I still think it still wants to test these lows at some point. But just going to have to wait and see. Oil kind of started looking bullish again. We actually broke this trend line here late in the week. So we're looking for the 114 area to be tested on oil, possibly into next week. Not going to go over gold right now. ES, similar picture, right? And we're just kind of trading down in this bearish channel, right? This is a sell the rip market right now. We are making lower lows, lower highs on multiple different time frames, right? Let's take a look. So here's the volume profile. I have a better look. Here we go. Okay, so maybe I don't. Let me pull up the weekly. Okay, here we go. Yeah. All right. So you can see basically no volume in this area right here, right? And we're kind of trading on the lower end of this. We're below these high volume nodes. So this kind of leaves the door open for us to fall pretty easily down to 4,000 or as low as 39.20, 39.40 area. I think we very likely break below 4,000 at some point in the next week or two. Whether or not we get some sort of a capitulation low there or, a medium-term bottom, right? That's difficult to say at this point. But I do think we head down to 3,900 to 4,000, somewhere in there. The 3,940 to 3,960 area, that's definitely where I'm going to start leaning in on longs, because I do think we see a pretty substantial bounce from there. And I'm talking like possibly into the 4,300 area, right? So you could see a 300 to 400 point bounce on ES from that area. So you can make quite a bit of money on longs, right? And that doesn't mean that, we're back to buying the dip, right? That's just a temporary bear market rally, right? So, ride it up. And, once we get to that 4,300 area, I think it's very possible that we could sell off from there. So I'll be scaling back into shorts if we get up that high, right? And we are still, here's the high, here's a lower high here, right? We have to break above this really to start changing the actual structure of the market right now, right? Or at least get above this trend line, right? And I have a hard time seeing that happening, but I'm open to anything possible. Right now in this environment, you just kind of have to take it day by day and week by week. It's hard to make a prediction, S&P is going to go down to 3,400 or we're going to go back to all-time highs from here. This is the bottom. Tough to do here, right? Just kind of play it level by level, day by day, and week by week. And then here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is another thing that I've been looking at as, somewhat of an indicator for where the indices are heading. I have found it pretty useful. And right now it's breaking down from this bear flaggish pattern, right? On the weekly and the daily, we've had multiple hourly, 2 hour, 4 hour, and a couple of daily closes below this channel here. That is not good. Not good for Bitcoin and not good for ES and the NASDAQ, right? I think at the very least, Bitcoin tests 32 to 3,300, 33,000 area, possibly down to this value area low here, which is at 29.7. And where is the low? We could absolutely test the low here at 28,600. That is absolutely on the table. And if that goes, I think 20,000 to 22,000 is guaranteed. And again, look at the volume profile. You get below that value area low, not a lot of volume to stop it here, right? Maybe a little bit in this area, in the 25K area. Now, if Bitcoin falls to 25K, I'm going to start leaning in pretty hard. Not everything I have, but at 20,000, yeah, I'm going to go pretty heavy. If we hit 20,000, I'm going to go pretty heavy. And I'm open to the idea that if I lean in heavy at 20K, it could fall as low as 12,000, right? But I'm willing to sit through that because I'm going to hold on to it for more than a year or two, right? And I'll basically just hold on to it until the next halving cycle, which is in 2024, right? So I'll gladly hold on to it for another couple of years. At some point it's going to bounce, even if it falls to 14,000, 12,000, something like that. At some point, that entry from 20,000, I think at least comes back up to 30,000, right? So if I lean in heavy at 20,000, I'm going to take some off at 30,000, absolutely, because it could bounce from 20,000 and get up to 30,000 and get rejected hard back down, right? So absolutely we'll take some capital off of the table in that situation, right? So, we'll just have to see how it goes. This is going to be an interesting week. Stay light and, don't lean too hard, short or long, in my opinion, until things start to get a little bit more clear. But in the 39.40 to 39.60 area, that's what I'm watching to load up on a little bit more of a big swing long. Okay, so keep that on your radar, and good luck trading this week. If you guys have any questions, head on over to the Discord, and we'll help you out with it. All right, happy trading.